Hey guys, um, I I saw something today. Came in my feed, and yeah, I'm holding a microphone because for my last video, somebody said that the audio was kind of so I'm trying out microphone here. Um, so which actually comments from my last video kind of triggered some people. I probably been averaging, I don't know, 30 some odd 40-ish views or whatever. Well, my last video, I got 713 views on it. Comments were fun, really. Seems to me that people have no clue as to what the heck is going on in this world, but oh well, and I'm sure they're going to comment on this, but just something came across my feed today that I need to show you. There's so much. And if you want to look at some of the comments from my last video, you'll see it. Not just stupidity, but so much hatred in this life. It's like people hate, they want they and yet they will call themselves Christians and everything like that. And but meanwhile, the hatred and the bigotry, just another human being living their life. They can't they can't wrap their minds around it, because everybody has to live the same exact life that they do. It's just ridiculous. As well as the fact that, of course, one other comments that I get, well, men in dresses. We don't want a man in a dress. We're protecting our women and our girls. But meanwhile, you support a pedophile and a rapist. Okay, yay. But, and even if you say, oh, that the whole file thing, that was just a hoax. Okay, well, the people that are named in those files from other countries, all of those other countries have taken action against those people. The only country that hasn't is us. Why? Well, Royal Heiny ass, says it's a hoax. So everybody believes it, even though his name is in there, 38,000 times? And we have pictures and videos from like the past 30 years, but it's a hoax. Okay, whatever. I'm not talking about that. It's just the fact of, men in dresses and, you know, we're just protecting our women and protecting, would I don't want a man in a dress in the restroom with my daughter. Well, obviously, you've never been in a women's restroom. Guys, hint, there are no urinals in the women's restrooms. It's all stalls. Because one guy, yeah, well, I don't want my daughter or my wife to be in there and to see your thing hanging out. You don't. There's stalls unless I'm standing at the sink half naked, which does not happen. Oh my God. But you know what? Things like this can wind up backfiring because every time somebody says transgender, it's me, male to female, which again, a lot of the hate comments are from men because I'm sure men are thinking, oh my God, why would you want to become a woman? Ew, a woman. Yeah, say that to your wife and watch her smack the crap out of your face. Okay? But yet it's the fact that just because a man is wearing a dress does not mean that man is transgender. Transgender is a medical diagnosis based on gender dysphoria, which is a world recognized medical diagnosis. Ugh. Just because a man is wearing a dress does not mean that that man is transgender. Stop it. Why is it that you can only see what's 4 inches in front of your eyes? The difference between us and the rest of the animal kingdom is the ability to reason, to think about things. But nobody wants to think about stuff. They don't, obviously. And a man in a dress going into a women's restroom to incite violence, that's a man issue, not a transgender issue. My God. To say a man in a dress is transgender is exactly the same as saying, if you're sitting in McDonald's, you're a hamburger. There's no correlation. A man in a dress is not transgender. But, okay, all of you keyboard warriors out there, go on to Google or Siri or whatever. I want you to do a search for trans men. Type it in and look at the pictures. Okay? Because if I, a trans woman, because my biological, what I was born at birth is male, and I can't go into the women's restroom, well, they biologically born as female, and you're going to see men with muscles and beards and everything going in. Then what are you going to do? Well, we'll put somebody at the front door, and before someone goes in to use a public restroom, we're going to have them pull down their pants so this way an inspector can inspect their genitals. Okay, a trans man doesn't have a male thing if they didn't get any surgery. But so you can have somebody who's big, brawny, with a beard, with a deep voice, with female genitals. But that would be okay. My God. What's worse about this, and this is what came across in my feed, I have to get back to that because I don't want to go on too much of a rant. This is what came across in my feed from the Lemkin Institute. Okay. And I know I had done something in the past, a video in the past with the Lemkin Institute, right, for genocide prevention and human security. So now the people at the Lemkin Institute, what they do is they study genocide throughout history as well as all different cultures. And they actually one of my other videos has it, like 10 steps that lead to genocide. Well, this is what they put up yesterday. Another red flag, a third red flag, anti-trans genocide in the USA. So the Lemkin Institute for Genocide Prevention is releasing a third red flag related to Trump's administration anti-trans initiatives, which have continued to expand nationwide since their last red flag alert. So now what is it getting down to? Look down over here. The administration has moved from identifying transgender people as a threat to the family and to the nation's military prowess to claiming that transgender people constitute a cosmic threat to the spiritual health of the nation and the greatest direct threat to U.S. national security in the world. Given these ideological developments, especially coupled with increasingly hostile and draconian legislation, the Lemkin Institute believes that the United States is squarely within the early to middle stages of a genocidal process against trans people, the goal of which is to completely erase transgender people, not only from public life, but also from existence in the US and globally. This is what hatred does. This is all of the hatred. Why are we in the forefront? Why are we in the forefront? Smoke and mirrors. Smoke and mirrors. Let's concentrate on the weakest 1% of the population. The weakest, and I say weakest is because guess what? There have never been any recorded accounts of a transgender, a diagnosed transgender individual causing any violent attack in any restroom towards any woman. However, transgender individuals are 4 times more likely to experience violence against them, against us. 4 times more likely. We are the ones that are being violated. We are not violating others. And I mean, this is a very long article, but what it leads to, it follows a pattern: denial of identity, which is pattern number 9 of their 10 patterns towards genocide. It makes it more familiar to the colonial genocides against indigenous population. Okay, denial of identity involves preventing people from openly expressing an identity and destroying institutions that reproduce the identity. And that is the consequence of well-defined hostility, even hatred for the identity. So, I mean, this is what's happening. We are headed towards and continuing to head towards. And why is it happening now? Well, November is getting closer. So things like this, more and more hatred. You're going to see more and more things and in social media and in the news and on TV. You're going to see more. And of course, I'm going to put the link down in the description here. But you are going to see more and more of this the closer we get to November. Because the GOP knows that they are losing. There are representatives that are leaving. I mean, Texas, come on. Texas, you're starting to become purple, guys. You know, because people are starting to wake up and say, like, wait a second. He promised no wars, promised peace, promised lower prices. Gas prices have gone up because now we're in a war. You know, we started with Venezuela, now a war in Iran where U.S. soldiers are getting killed for what? The $300 million that Netanyahu gave him? But meanwhile, let's put together a board of peace where he is the chairperson of the board of peace for life. And he's actually looking to take $10 billion out of our government, our tax dollars, for the Board of Peace, and it's going to be put into an offshore account that only he has authority over. Use the brains, people, you know, start thinking about these things. And again, why? Because transgender people, we are the minority, 1%, and yes, we're the weakest. Yeah, well, you want to come up against me? Come on, because I will smack you down. We are basically the strongest because we have been fighting all along. Fighting. Imagine every single day of your life you have to get up and fight for your life. People don't understand these things. This is what we have to go through every single day. And if you sit there and just like I had some people in my comments last video saying, why am I seeing this crap in my feed? Because you're commenting on it. You're commenting on it. You're on social media. There are these little things, you know, because these are all servers and computers in the back end and stuff. There are these little things called algorithms. So if you are commenting on all of these videos, even these negative comments, it doesn't matter. The algorithm says, wow, you are commenting on all of these video types. So you know what? I'm going to keep on giving you more. That's why you see us in your feed all the time, because you're commenting on it. You are pulling me into your life. I just want to live my life. I am an American citizen, just like you, and I deserve to have every single right that you have, including freedom of speech. You have your opinions. You know what? That's fine. Absolutely. Go right ahead. Think whatever you want to think. But once you start hurting other people, once you start saying that my freedom is more than yours, no, that doesn't work. We all have the same freedoms, okay? I don't want to be in your life, so stop dragging me into your life. Stop with the comments. These things are called channels for a reason. You're flicking through TV channels and you see a show that you don't like. Are you going to sit down and start writing an email to the network saying, I don't like this? Why am I seeing it? No, you change the damn channel. So you know what? You see this video, you're like, oh, I don't want to deal with that. Keep on scrolling. Comment on the things that you want to see. This way the algorithm will change and show you more of the things that you want to see. That's all that there is to it. My gosh. Yeah, we're heading towards genocide. Genocide of 1% of the population just to cover up Pumpkin Face and all of his friends. That's making millions and billions of dollars while you are sitting here suffering, while you're paying more money. Yeah, you have the big truck with the flags going off the back. What does that do to your gas mileage? You probably used to pay 40, $50 to fill up your tank, but now with all the flags on the back and everything like that, you're probably paying 60, $70 to fill up your tank, maybe even more. But you're okay with that. Stop. Just stop. Stop, take a breath, and think, why, if the transgender community is this much of the population, why are we pushing so much against it? Why? Come on. It's the same thing that happened in the 50s and 60s with segregation. I know that. And you know what? If it was black instead of transgender, oh my God, there would be a war. There would be a war right here. Well, if you push any group further enough, something's going to happen. Something's going to happen. And I don't want to think about that, what can happen. So just stop. You don't like me? I don't care. I don't care. Nobody is out to get your kids. Nobody is out to indoctrinate them. Nobody. I mean, come on. Indoctrination. Indoctrination definition. It's the process of teaching individuals to accept beliefs, ideologies, or doctrines uncritically, often ignoring contrary evidence. Ignoring the evidence. Come on, it's a no-brainer. You can't have men and women's sports. It's a no-brainer. Transgender people. Okay, well, the science proves that wrong, especially the last one that was done in 2024 that was sponsored by the International Olympic Committee and published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine. Actually says that transgender women compared to cisgender women have less of a grip strength, less lower body strength, and actually have less cardiovascular and respiratory because we have more body fat. Okay, because our skeleton is not made to hold the body fat, so we have more body fat, so we actually have less cardiovascular and less aerobic capacity. So come on, this is science. But then again, I know I'm talking to people that say, XX and XY chromosomes. That's it. Obviously, you didn't watch my other video, which talks about aneuploids and trisomies. Biology is not that. Get out of middle school biology. Grow up and figure out and find out the diversity that's in biology, the flora and fauna that is on this planet. It is so much deeper. Stop looking 3 inches in front of your eyes. Look further. Ask questions. And again, you're going to comment on this and you're going to start saying stupid things again. And you know what? I am not going to even bother to answer because I don't need to waste any energy on you. So you could write whatever you want. You will not get an answer from me. Just keep in mind that if you keep on writing that stuff, the algorithm is going to say, hey, you kind of like this because I see you commenting on it. So I'm going to give you more of it. And you're going to get more in your feed, more transgender people like me in your feed. So stop commenting on it. Comment on other things, the things that you like, and the algorithm will push that stuff onto your feed. Oh, gosh. I just had to do this. I'm sorry. I know, flying off the handle a little bit. Sorry, I have to take it down. So that's that. Um, Again, the article from from the Lemkin Institute, I'm going to put the link to that, and you could read that. It's a long article. It goes through a whole lot of stuff that you're going to sit there and you're going to be like, oh my! And I guarantee you, if you have an open mind, because remember, the mind is like a parachute. If it ain't open, you're in trouble. If you have an open mind and you read the whole thing, you're going to sit there and go, oh my God. And I guarantee you, you won't sleep that night that you read it. Okay? So let's live life gloriously, please. Life, give life gloriously. Let human beings be human beings and live life gloriously and be productive members of society. Because up until the last minute, it's what we make it. So thanks for listening. See you later.